There, works so much better when you have the sound on. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing well. I've been off for a couple of weeks, I must admit, so I'm a little rusty here getting things back to normal. The first week I was off, we've had, let's say, personal problems amongst the artists in this building, so we had to resolve all those problems, a real pain in the neck, but finally got everything in peace back into the building, so that was great. And then the second week I was off, well, I actually hurt myself and couldn't walk for several days, and even today I'm limping and I have a tremendous back pain as well, but I stay home even longer. It's just driving me crazy. So I kind of forced my way to come back into the studio, especially now that it's like 85 degrees here, so it feels great. Just kidding, of course, but I do have the fan on and that does feel good. So as I've mentioned, what we're going to do right now actually is we're going to go to the computer, get back into the groove of how it is to do a live stream. We're going to catch up and see how we ended our last painting, and then we're going to start off this new one today. So I'm just going to go over to the computer right here and let's check up a quick recap of how we ended this painting, because I sure as hell don't remember. Yes, we added the shadows to our sperms, a little bit of details to our little stars. We added, of course, that signature, which is worth millions of dollars, and that is basically how we finished our painting. So that's it. That was our painting, a very quick look at it, but that's basically how it goes. So let's not waste any time. Let's go back over here. I must say I've been pulling my hair out trying to figure out what to paint next, kind of out of just because of everything that's happened in my personal life. I really haven't had time to think about anything, and when I run out of ideas and whatnot, I basically go back, as a warm-up to one of my most standard, typical paintings that I've done thousands of times before, since I used to paint posters and glue them in the street. So I'm not exaggerating when I say thousands of them. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to do one of my nuclear, my TheZenRebel heads, and I'm going to use the colors I've been using in the last few paintings, which are kind of new for me. I've never used these paintings in 40 years of painting, which are like turquoise blue and turquoise green and mauve and these light pastel colors. For some reason I've rediscovered, because I never used them except for like way back into the 1990s, and that was only on one painting. So I'm going to go back into that. I am also going to bring over my camera number one a little bit closer, because as I just came into the studio just a few minutes ago, to be honest with you, I'm just settling back into the studio, and I noticed that because I've been away for 2 weeks, all my jars of water have all evaporated. That's how hot it is. France was under a heat wave for the last 10 days or so. Even though here in southern France, in Nice, where I am, it hasn't been that bad, I must admit, unless I'm used to it. But so anyways, I'm going to go over to my little sink in my kitchen area, and I'm going to fill up my jars with water. So I'm going to do that right now. It'll just take a few seconds. Just go back over here and top off these jars with a little bit of water. There we go. There we go. Boy, this nice, fresh, cold water makes me want to kind of go to the beach and dive in, but whatever. So, we got the water together, but I'm not going to start painting right off. I'm going to draw my head. So as you noticed, usually I kind of staple canvas on the wall and work from there, and then after stretch it on some frames. Well, actually I found 2 frames, and that's what I did actually 2 weeks ago when we were having all these problems in our studios. I did come in and I did stretch some canvas and showed up not yesterday, I guess it was on I don't even know what day we are today. What are we, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Then Monday I came in and I put a coat of gesso on. I have 2 canvases on frames that I found in my storage room, so I figured why not use them. So that's what we're going to do. And since my easel, I've lent my easel to this girl who works here and have been unable to find my easel again. Well, I made a makeshift easel using my bar stool chair, and then I put this huge can of paint on top that I usually use as a stool to stand up to paint on the higher levels, but it's going to work out kind of fine. I think it's a little low, but I don't know if I should try to make it any higher. Could I jack this up maybe by adding another, excuse me, whoa, that is the effect from the fan, and then putting my jar of gesso, bringing it a little bit higher like that. Is it stable, or is it going to give me a headache? Actually, it's kind of nicer to work like this, so maybe I'll just stay like that. Why not? Okay, so let's try it like that. See what happens. So let me grab my pencil, which I was sharpening when we started off our session. And I'll get camera number 1, bring that baby back here. Now I'm going to do this penciling very lightly, so I don't think you'll be able to see much, but whatever. So, and this doesn't look quite level. It looks like it's a little low on one side. How's that look? I'm going to have to jack this off. Jack this off? No, that's not quite what I wanted to say. I'm going to jack this up. That sounds a little bit better. And that's going to be too much. Okay, so, damn. Oh, I feel so rusty. Okay, so let me kind of find the center of this canvas here. I would say somewhere's like, so that would be the center. This crookedness bothers me. I can't really paint if this thing is crooked, so I got to figure out a way how to jack up this right-hand side here. I don't need much, so maybe just a little bit of canvas that I cut when I stretched it on the frames, maybe that will make the difference. So that's a little high now. So I'll just make it a little bit thinner. Let's try this. What does that give me? Still a little high. Jeez, I guess it really isn't that much out of whack, but just enough to bother my eyeballs. So what does that look like? That looks like it's... See, I have to look on the edges as well to decide if this is okay or not. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to grab my eraser just in case. Because since I'm kind of out of it, that's like 25 centimeters from the top, 25 from the bottom. And that looks about right, and center would be about there. So let's see. Something like that. Gonna work on this for a few seconds, try to get everything nice and symmetrical. Like that. And then okay. Okay, so that's the general idea. We can fix everything up when we start coloring things in. Right. Right. This also needs. Okay, I see it's not quite there yet, but like I said, it's the kind of thing that I'll pick up and when we get to doing the head, which is going to be the last thing we do in this painting anyway. So, what am I going to do next? Well, next I'm going to start painting you know what, I'm not going to ask myself. I'm going to go about with this painting as though I was making my posters, which means that I'm not going to worry about what's right, the perfect way of doing this stuff. Screw it, I'm just going to go for it. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Grab these palettes. Go. Grab my knife that I haven't seen in so long. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing well. And what am I going to go with? A dark or a light? I'm going to go with a light turquoise green right now. Again, I have to get back into the groove. I feel so rusty. Hesitating on everything I'm doing, trying to remember what is the correct way of proceeding. There we go. Now, some white paint. Getting very close to the end of this jar. Okay, so let's mix all this up, see what we have. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to put 2 coats like we usually do. So I'm not going to worry about getting the right hue perfect for my eyeballs because we'll worry about that on the second coat of paint. What we want to do is just get the basics down here. Get some colors onto this canvas and start painting. God, do I love painting and I miss it so much. 2 weeks seems like an eternity. And now the right paintbrush. I, 2 weeks. which could be something like this. So I'm going to use this paintbrush anyways, just to blend in the turquoise and the white paint. And I guess like usual, I'll do this down here on the camera number 1. We can do this together. So I'll just bring this over here. Let's bring camera number 1 a little bit closer so you can see my jar of water. And then I'll just switch cameras just like that. So there's our turquoise, there's our white paint. And let's just blend the whole thing together. I am going to add a little bit of water to it. Just like that. Because the paint is pretty thick. Just mix this all nicely together so it's nice and homogeneous. Not too thick, not too thin. Just get that nice little creamy texture that we love so much to paint with. We're almost there. It looks slightly thick, so maybe I'll just add another dab of water. Nice fat dab of water. And let's keep blending this in so it's nice and homogeneous. There, I like my colors to be solid, nice and flat, from the Nabi Gauguin school of painting, also the cartoons, mangas, Japanese woodcut prints from guys like Hiroshige or Utomaro. These are my influences, how I like these solid, bright colors. And I did add just a little bit more water. This looks pretty good. I'll add water as we go along because with this heat, it's going to evaporate very quickly on my palette. So we're just going to have to keep adding water to it. For the time being, this looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go back to camera number 2 here for a second because I want to wipe down my brush. I don't mind getting paint on my hands, but I don't like having paint on my actual brush, you know, so my fingers don't slip and slide in the paint. So, and I took care of that. So let's see, where are we at here? Let me bring up camera number 1, which is the camera that's going to be following basically everything we're doing. I'm going to move it off to the side because I don't want to be in front of that lens. And there we are. So, just step back for a second. All right, so let's go for it. What the heck? Yeah, we'll get the outline first. Oh, does this feel good? Boy, does this feel good. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water here. Maybe I could have gone with a brush that's slightly bigger. But then again, I'm in no hurry here. I just want to get back to used to painting again. Usually I paint a frame around my paintings, but not on this one. Is it because it's stretched on a frame? I don't know. Just didn't seem like it called for it. Yes, I like my swirls and my curves and whatnot. There we go. And I am going to go down here now and paint another one right in this area, right in here. We're using the same color paint. But I am going to have to bring another bar stool for me to sit on. So let me go back here in my back room here. Bring this stool over for me to sit on. Because I often say on this stream that you need three things to do a nice painting. You need the right size paintbrush, you need the paint to be the right consistency, and thirdly, you need to be in a comfortable position. If you can reunite all three of these items, well, usually painting is nothing but pleasure. So that's why I brought over my stool here, just to be comfortable. There we go, even though I'm a little bit off, but I guess it doesn't matter. Let me just move the camera over a bit. That's maybe a little bit too much. I can just zoom in instead of moving in closer with the camera. I never think about that. Okay, so let's switch to camera number 1. And let's add another little plant to our jungle scene here. And you see, this is the proper way in painting, is to start with the background and work your way to the foreground. And I am doing the exact opposite. And that is why I do not give painting lessons, because I probably would get sued. Yeah, just doing the outlines. I can just fill everything in afterwards. It's the end result that counts, right? And even though I'm starting with the foreground as though I was painting my posters, well, the end result always kind of looks nice anyways, and that's the main thing. Again, this is just the first coat. I'm sure we're going to see all these brush strokes. There we go. That needs to be a little fatter there. I must say, with the fan on my back, it does feel kind of nice. I do feel little drops of sweat on my cheek here, but I'm not really that hot, so that's cool. So, how's this all look? Getting paint all over my fingers, and that feels good. I love it. Okay, so we got this done too. Now what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is step back and think about this for a few seconds. Okay, so I'm going to switch colors. I'm not going to go with this. I think I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to go with maybe a light cerulean blue. Here's a palette full of cerulean blue from our past painting. Let's see if I can rip this open here. And this is something I show a lot, is that you see acrylic paint, the binder is an emulsion, right? Made out of nothing else but plastic. So on a non-porous surface like this, well, you can just basically peel off the acrylic paint because, like I said, the binder is a polymer emulsion. And you can see right here the plasticity. Right? You can see that this stuff is really like plastic. So that is one of the nice things about acrylic paint is that it lasts a long time. It has no odor as well. Just a few things that I love about this acrylic paint. And since the, I guess, mid-60s, late 1960s, 70s, they've actually corrected that polymer emulsion so it doesn't yellow with time. At the early acrylics, they used to yellow a little bit after a few years. They've taken care of that problem. I don't know how. God knows in their chemical laboratories. But anyways, so the colors stay pretty true. And I know because I have paintings that I've done like already 40 years ago, and the colors are just as bright and as electric as they were 40 years ago. So let's get a little bit of cerulean blue. Again, I'm going to add some white paint to it to make it lighter. And I am getting down to the end of my white paint. I am going to have to grab another jar, probably tomorrow. Okay, so before I mix all this together, I am going to clean again my spoon here. Always keep the materials nice and clean immediately. Don't put it off, because if you're in a rush and you kind of forget, then it's a good way to mix all your paints together in the jars, and then everything is a real mess. So if you get in the habit of keeping everything nice and clean right away, well, it does in the long run avoid a lot of headaches. So that is done. Now where am I at? I'm going to blend all this together. So I guess we can go back to, I'll bring down camera number 1 again here. And we can do that on the camera together. There we go. So I have my cerulean blue back here, the white. And we're just going to blend this to come up with some sort of a very nice baby blue. There we go. And look at that. Again, the texture seems pretty good right there. I don't think I need to add, or at least I don't think I need any more water. Well, maybe one more drop. Why not? Let's give it one more drop. And this should do it. Let's just blend it in. Again, when we put the second coat on, we'll decide if we want this to be a little lighter or a little darker. Right now, we're just concentrating on getting our basic background to our painting done, even though this isn't really the background. Let's say it's the background to our foreground. There we go. So Let's bring up the camera. We're going to go over to this corner here, over on this side. Right over there. Let me just get the hair out of my face, because with the fan and blowing the hair into my palette, something like that. So let's just fill in the numbers. And then we'll adjust what doesn't work and fix it. Because nothing is set in stone when you're painting. I try not to rework my work. I like things going down and staying the way they should right off the bat. I rarely fix mistakes, because I think nothing is perfect in life. So therefore, so I didn't know if I should paint on the edge of these, of my canvas on the frame. I guess I will right here at least. So let me step back, take a look. There we go. So, let me just step back for a second again. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And then we're just going to go to the other side here for a second. I'm going to just step back and take a look from afar here. Over here, I am going to go with a different kind of a plant. And let's go for it here. we go, these nice fat leaves like this. Just like that. Where am I at here on my camera? I'm on number 5. Well, I should have switched over. Got to get back in the habit now of thinking about the cameras as well. There we go, just like that. Okay, so that is basically our first step of our painting for today. Because I need everything to be kind of dry to do the next step. Which probably what will be the next step will be the background. I guess we'll start working on the background and try and get this to be level as well. There you go. Okay, so that will basically conclude for today's session of painting. Let me get this baby out of the way. And so let me just show you from camera number 1 basically what it looks like, just like that. And I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we continue. We'll struggle through the heat wave and make our way here through thick and thin, especially after 2 weeks being off. So, once again, thank you very much for joining me. And I'll leave you like I used to usually do, which is leaving you with 2 things, my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.